The 2012 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examination results are set to be released tomorrow. The results are being released a month after they were scheduled, that is following a 3-week teachers' strike in December that affected learning in all public schools. KTN's Catherine Wantho now explores the controversial KCPE examination debate.
Life has dealt a harsh blow to 22-year-old Eunice Ndenya Macau. She must contend with tending to her parents' farm and not studying theology as she had always dreamed. In 2010, Eunice sat for her Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examination. Her score was what examiners would term as unsatisfactory.
Maksi yangu nilipata 188.
It is not that Eunice is not enthusiastic about her education. She falls in a category of pupils and students who do not excel in cognitive assessments.
844 is just insisting on the cognitive domain. But those who are not gifted in that particular area are simply discriminated against. How do you argue, for example, how would an education system like ours be useful to somebody like Mariga, to somebody like Dennis Orliech? How does our education system become relevant to some of those children? And these are only 2 examples. Think about the so many children who are not favored by our education system today.
It is far better if we were to move all our children from early childhood all the way to Form 4. You give them a better chance in life than having some of them drop out at Standard 8, and the certificates you give them are not adequate protection for modern economy.
According to educationist Janet Modhoni, Eunice is among 30% of pupils who sit for KCPE every year and are left by the wayside because they did not perform well enough.
KCPE served the purpose of elimination in terms of purely being in a position to examine who goes where in terms of placement in secondary schools, and also it has now been confused to take the position of examining the depth or how well the teachers have been able to cover the syllabus, and I think that is totally wrong.
A system that eliminates the clever from the gifted is a discriminative system that may have worked well in the previous constitution. But under the Bill of Rights of the current constitution, every Kenyan has a right to education, and under the specified rights, every child has a right to free and compulsory basic education. To fulfill this right, the government must ensure 100% transition of primary to secondary schools.
Let us see nobody being eliminated just because there is KCPE. And in the event that somebody feels that KCPE really should be scrapped, then we are looking at other modalities, for example, assessments, and really wanting to introduce very credible modes of assessment, because at the end of the day, we have to ensure, or there has to be reference in terms of how many make it to the national schools now that our country secondary schools are categorized. But otherwise, what happens in other places is that you find that there is just no category of national school, provincial schools. They're just secondary schools that all of them across the board are giving quality education.
The Ministry of Education seems to be making some sort of steps towards ensuring more KCPE candidates make it to high school by increasing the national schools to 78 and increasing class streams of public schools to accommodate more students. However, is this enough? Could these improvements see more KCPE candidates like Eunice see the inside of a Form 1 classroom?
Nafasi ya kurudi katika shule ama barua ya kupata kuenda shule ya upili, ningelisoma hata nipikie chuo kikuu dipoza nikapate kusaidia babangu pamoja na mamangu.
That somebody can perform really well in the primary education, but when they go up to secondary education, where life is a bit more difficult, where thinking is supposed to be there. For example, you find examinations are in prose form, so that person can really not be in a position to be creative and to really think around or maneuver through the examinations.
There was a time when certain schools were known for certain strengths. For example, the Alliance High schools were known to admit students who were strong in maths and physics. Could this placement system be revived?
We cannot continue implementing a constitution that recommends the right to education to every child of this country and remain in the current system of education that we are in. And that's why we are saying, even the people who are going to come in, let us implement education reforms in totality and not in piecemeal.
All eyes are on the Ministry of Education as they release the results of the KCPE examination 2012. But also to see if this KCPE controversy will finally be resolved and to see if education will be free for all or just a reserve of the book smart and the rich. Catherine Omwando, KTN in Nairobi.
For coverage of that announcement of the results, keep it KTN.